Hi, this is John Burton, designer of the Brambles Matrix Ritual. This is a quick tutorial on how to use the playingcards.io implementation. I'm not going to go through all the rules of the game. You will have to read the instructions for that, though I will be working on a rules video shortly. This is just to show you like how to navigate around this playingcards.io implementation. So this is what it looks like when you first import it, and let me walk you through what you see here. Over to the left, you have your collection cards and your runes. These are in a pile. They will be dealt out to these grids in the middle here. This middle grid on the bottom, this is your grid, and this is where the runes will be dealt out. And then up here, these are where the collection cards will be dealt based on the different matrix evils that you're going to face. So these are actually the cards from the original collection from the original Brambles game. However, for this playingcards.io implementation, I'm only using the rank and the suit just for space purposes and clarity when you're playing. So imagine these are the full cards that you got from the original set, okay? So let's take a look. Those will be where your opponent's cards are. This is actually kind of the fun hook of the game, is that if you liked the original Brambles, those were the cards that you used to win. However, those cards have now been cursed. They've been taken over by these Matrix evil characters down here. And so you have to play against the collection deck. What else do you have here? You've got your, this is a reference card for the different 3-card combinations you're going to have to come up with. These are the Bramble evils, or the Matrix evils, I should say. Each one of them has a rank. It shows their trick-taking rules. It shows what's the prime suit for the round, which is like a trump suit, and the suit priorities. You have what combination it's going to take to beat this Bramble evil, and then also the matrix. This is how the cards will be laid out once we deal the cards. The light-colored cards are face up, and the bottom color, or the darker colored cards, are face down. This ritual action, you will gain this ritual action if you actually beat this card, and those are up here. So once you beat number 1, you can flip number 1 over, and that shows that you actually have completed that. So you can use the this ritual action in subsequent turns. Okay, let me deal the game first, then I can tell you about the rest. So click reset. That will shuffle everything. Then if you click start game, that will deal your alpha runes. It doesn't deal the collection yet. You have to select the evil that you want to play with. I suggest going in order from 1 through 5, playing it with this implementation. So let's click evil number 1. There you go. So that deals their grid versus your grid. Now this is a puzzly, trick-taking game, but it's the spatial element's very important, because the cards you select are what give you your available cards for your next turn. So the way the gameplay basically works is, on the first turn, you play something from your bottom row, and that's this green glowing row for me, and your opponent here will have to play something from their bottom row, and the rules for what they play is what you see over here. While we play, when the trick-taking happens, the cards, when your opponent beats you, the cards go in the discard pile, and that's what this is here. The discard pile is, like I said, used when your opponent defeats you in a trick. Also, this is where you put cards that you've reclaimed in order to trigger the special cards or trigger the special actions. In order to trigger special actions, you have to discard either a honor card, which is 11 through 14. So you would have to have an honor card and then discard it. Or if you had a couplet, which is a pair. So if you had 2 of the same rank, like here, this 4. These 2 4s, if you had reclaimed these, you can discard both of them, and that will let you either do the Seer of Visions, the Sacred Shears, or if you have ritual actions available, then you can do one of those for each one of this payment cost that you see here. So let me set that back up. So as I said, here's the discard, here's the reclaimed. These are the reclaimed cards, are all the cards that you win in tricks. So when you win a trick, you place it here in the reclaimed pile. Okay, and here are the Flux Convergence. You can see the rules for Flux Convergence. Basically, the point of these cards is when you've reclaimed cards, You'll want to sometimes keep them for the next round, but you can only keep cards that you're able to put in your flux to keep them for the next round. And what you can put in the flux is either any single card or any valid 3-card combinations. And these are the 3-card combinations over here. So if I had, say, 11, 11, 5, that would be a couplet plus 1. So that would be something I would be allowed to put in a flux in order to move to the next turn. If you have anything in your reclaimed pile at the end of a round, you have to discard it if it's not in a flux. Okay, so that's how all that works. Let me show you just the gameplay so you can see how it works. You start by picking a card that you want to play. Now, the one caveat you have is that you have to play a card, or a rune, I should say, where your opponent's available cards, that there is a suit that matches if possible. So it's kind of the reverse of normal trick taking, where the lead player plays a card, then everyone else has to follow suit. In this version, because everything is, you can see it's all open information, you do have to follow suit with one of the cards that are available to your opponent. So let me start with this 7. I'll play this 7. Now you play a card just by flipping it over, but maybe I'll move it over here just so we don't forget what it is. So you've got this 7 of green, so that means you have to play one of the 2 green cards that are available to your opponent. The way you decide which one to play is you go to his rules here, and then you look down. So is he leading? No, he's not leading. We just led. So now we look. Can he play a card that matches the suit of the one I played? Yes, either the 13 or the 5. So which one does he play? He plays the lowest. And that's what this low means. It means play the lowest ranked card of the matching suit. So he plays the 5. And since 7 is bigger than 5, 7 wins, and I reclaim that card. Now, we've played our first turn. Once you've played the first turn in a round, the available cards change. Instead of having the bottom row being available, now the only cards or runes that are available are the ones that are orthogonally adjacent to a card that's already been played. So for example, now that this card has been played, the only available cards I have to lead my next trick are this 7, and this 14, because they are adjacent to one of the cards I've already played. Here, my opponent can only play this 11 or this 4. Since I won the trick, I lead to the next trick. I'm going to go ahead and play this 7. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I know that when my opponent here can match the suit, he always plays the lowest version. And let me tell you, this first guy, he's not that good at trick taking. So his rules aren't that hard, but each new card, all the rules are different. So by the time you get to the level 5 character, they are a very savvy card trick-taking player. So right now, this guy's, going to make what I would consider a bad move. So I'm going to play my 7, and he's not going to beat me with his 11 because that's not his rule. His rule says play the lowest card, he plays the 4. So I've collected now a 5 and a 4. Now, as you can see here, this is a face-up card that's become available. So anytime a face-up card becomes available, you immediately flip it over, and now it becomes available. So these are the 3 cards available to my opponent, either the 7 of blue, the 10 of blue, or the 11 of yellow. One thing to remember is that the yellow is the prime suit, and what the prime suit is essentially the trump. So the winner of the trick is as follows. Whoever plays the highest card in the prime suit wins the trick. If the prime suit was not played, then it's the highest ranked card of the suit that was led to the trick. Standard stuff, right? Okay. So, and then the winner of the trick leads to the next trick. So that's me. I'm leading again. Now I have to play a card that matches one of the suits of my opponent that he has available. Okay, so now what I would like to do is play this 7. And I'm going to play this 7 so I can show you how the tie system works. As you can see, this 7 and this 7 are identical. When I play this 7, as we have been talking about, when he can match suit, he plays his lowest version. So the 7 is his lowest ranked of the available blue cards. So we just played the same identical card. What that means is, the way I deal with that is I put the 7 on top of the other 7. And now that means we tied the trick and we played the next trick. whoever led the tied trick leads another trick. And who's going to win the next trick is going to win both the tied trick and the next trick. So this is here. Now, because I removed my rune, that actually makes this 14 available to me. However, because this is just sitting on top and their card hasn't left, this doesn't become available. All right, so now I'm going to play my 14, and there's only one blue left for him to play, which is this 10, so he plays his 10, and so he loses because 14 is larger than 10, obviously, so I take the 10. Now I put my 7 back, and I get to take that 7 as well. And that turns in. So that's how tied tricks work. Okay? So now let me see. So what I'm trying to do here is I am trying to get to collect cards that are a couplet plus 1. That means a pair and then one additional card. That's how I defeat this guy. However, another thing I'm trying to do is collect honor cards, because honor cards are used to trigger the special cards and the rune actions. But right now, my focus at least is on trying to get a pair plus 1 or couplet plus 1. And the way it looks like I'll be able to do that is this 4. So if I get that 4, and then I'll have that 4, I should be good to go. Let's see if I can grab it, though. I'm not going to get it through there because this is a 3. You know what? Let me let him lead. So I'm going to play this 1 of yellow here. So I play it, and the only yellow he has is an 11, so he wins. Now he's 1. So when he wins a trick, you put it in the discard. And now because he won the trick, he leads. So you look at his rules here, and it says he plays the lowest card. So if you just look at the lowest available card, and it looks like it's a 4, and unfortunately, so he's going to play the 4. The only card I have is this 3, so I do have to play my 3 rune, and that means he is going to win the 4. Oh, I wanted that 4. Now this is going to make it more difficult. Ooh. However, this is very nice. Okay, I'm gonna talk about what to do with the seer in a minute. Let's see if I can win a trick. So, okay, the next turn he plays, he's going to play again. So I go to here. What does he lead? He leads the lowest card. Okay, so his lowest card is an 8. So he plays an 8. Now I do not have an available blue card. So if I play a yellow, then I am going to, that's like trumping in, I would win that trick. But does that help me? I really want to win an honor card, because if I win an honor card, I can trigger this Seer of Visions that I need to trigger. All right, I'll try it and see what happens. So I accepted this 8. I took the 8. I win. Now we flip this over and see what we got. We have a 1. Okay, so what I need to do is got to somehow get either these 11s, which would be pretty tricky to get, or to try to use the Seer to grab this 5. However, I need a card in order to activate this. And the only way you can activate a Seer is to discard an honor card or discard a couplet. So let me see if I can win one of these honor cards. Here's what I'm going to do. Ooh, watch this. This will work. So I'm going to play this red 3, and he's going to win it because he plays his 11, which is obviously higher than 3, so he discards that. Now his next turn, he has to lead with his lowest card. So he plays a 1, which is fine. So he plays this 1. So now I have to go with a 1. I could tie it, but I don't really see the point. So I will beat it with this 3. And I take his 1. Now I've got my 14. So I play my 14, and that will beat his 13. That's the only green that he has. So I play the 14. I add the 13 here, and I've won. Now what this tells me is that I have an honor card which I can use to trigger the Seer of Visions. That's what I'm going to do here. And this is going to be very important because that's pretty much the only way I'm going to actually win this thing. So in order to win, I need a couplet plus 1, which is 2 of the same rank plus an additional card. And I know that there is a 4 in the discard here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard my 13, and that will trigger the Seer of Visions. So that makes the Seer of Visions go away. And now I'm going to do what's called Reclaim the Past. And what that does is you get to search the discard to find a card you want, and then you're going to put it back on the layout where the Seer of Vision was. So in order to do that, you can just click this search here. And I'm going to search until I find my 4. I got my 4. There we go. Excellent. Okay. Now I've got the 4. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what I play now because I sort of shielded off these blues over here and didn't go to get them. And so now I can play whatever I want. And not only do I have prime suit cards, but honestly, because I have the lead and he's not going to be able to follow suit, I'm going to win both of these cards. So I'll just play like a 10, and then that makes me win. When he can't match, he plays his highest card. So he plays that, and then I'll play a 3, and he can't match it, so he plays the 4. Okay, so the round is now over, and luckily, I barely did it, but I have 4, 4, 5. So that's a couplet plus 1. So that means I have enough to defeat this evil. Yay! So now my next decision is just which cards do I want to carry over into the next phase? So if you see here, this Flux Convergence, any cards that I leave in my reclaimed pile have to be discarded in order to go to the next round. But if I put cards on these Flux cards, they can carry over to the next round. So what you can add to a Flux card is either any single card or any valid 3-card combo. Well, luckily, see this? I have 3 of the same suit. That's a combo here, 3 of the same suit, so I can put that on there. And then, honestly, I could put both of these guys here and here because it's just a single card if I wanted to. I might as well. There's no harm in it. I could always discard them in the next turn. So luckily, all the cards that I claimed, I can put on fluxes legally. If I had other cards that I weren't going to discard, like say I also had this 11, I couldn't put it on here because that's not a valid 3-card combination. Of course, I could do that and that because that's a couplet plus 1, right? But anyway, so these are what I'm going to carry over to the next round. These I have to discard because that's my couplet plus 1 in order to defeat this evil, and I defeated him. Woohoo! So here's what you do when you defeat. You go ahead and just click the next evil. Click. And as you can see here, now the ritual action just got turned over. That means now I have access to this. And this one is add +1 to any rune you play per discarded card. And that means discarded card in order to activate the action. So it's either 1 honor or 2 cards that make up a couplet. My flux cards, I can put them back in my reclaimed, or I can just leave them on the flux. It doesn't really matter. And now I look at the next suit. As you can see, the Matrix Evil, now it's a 3x5 row instead of a 3x4 row. And now we have a different task in order to defeat. And look, we've got some curse cards out. So I'm ready to start the next round. What you can see here with the runes is that they were all flipped over, and then each rune was moved down a row, and then the bottom row was moved to the top. I do that instead of having to like shuffle and redeal them on every turn, just because I think it's a little faster, and it's kind of fun to get a sense of how the puzzle works, and it kind of keeps the puzzle going through the whole game. That's all you need to know to play. There, like I said, there's rules over here. This little reminder here. There's a reference card here. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.